Yeah, right. We don't
Yeah.
want to talk about the good guys.
Yeah.
Don't care about the
I'm
good
not talking
guys.
about the good guys. I'm talking about we're giving the villains their due diligence. The villains. But yeah, we're pretty much on record. So, hello, folks. Welcome to another episode of Horror Junkies Podcast. I'm your host, Quan. Got our other host right there, Sir Edge, on the screen. We've been debating about what we're going to talk about. I think we have finally decided that we're going to go for favorite villains, favorite characters of horror movies that we like. Top 10, top 10, top 10. That way it gives us all the options. Because, like I've sent before, to Edge, we were thinking about slashers. He mentioned characters, and I think I like characters a little bit more because technically that would include slashers. The only rule that we have is that it has to be about the villain. It has to be about the bad guy, the protagonist, what the hero or heroine has to face. And pretty much our favorite takes on that. And yes, I guess characters could maybe include. Should our characters include like? Does that include creatures? Does that include?
I don't. Yeah, but I think we should do a completely separate video for creatures.
Okay, so basically that means these are basically like beings. They're conscious. They can talk. They can do, or possibly can talk, but they can do. They can plan, plot, do interesting
They're
stuff.
people. They are people to some extent. Yes.
People to some extent. All right, then I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. And we're starting with top 10, so this is going to be a very interesting episode because we're probably going to reach very awesome far topics, far movies, far representation. So everybody buckle up. You might learn something today. You might learn a lot of things today. But since we are on that topic, I guess from your top 10, Sir Edge, who'd be your first 10? Who'd be like in 10th place of one of your favorite evil characters?
All right. So this one's kind of funny. So I wanted to put this one on the list just because of his mind and the way it works. But Jigsaw, I think, has to be on that list. The thing with Jigsaw is he never really killed anybody. He always allowed the characters and the people to kill themselves, basically, to make their own decisions. And of
Huh.
course, he put them in these predicaments based on what they did in their life. And usually it was something wrong that they had did, which is why he did that. But again, because of his diabolical mind and the diabolical ways that he killed these people, you got to put him on the list, at least somewhere on the list, even though he didn't kill anybody. So I dropped him in at number 10.
I can go with that. I can go with that. I like that. I like that. I actually like that. Let's see. 10 for me. What are my top 10? Okay, you might give me a side eye for it, but slightly, just slightly top 10. First and 10th place might be for me in a way Leatherface. And the reason why I say Leatherface is most of the time I do like, um Leatherface from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre for people who may not know. The reason why I put him in 10th place is because uh, I always am worried about a villain who thinks, but also a villain who looks scary as well. And even though Leatherface does have a look and does definitely move like a scary person, I think technically I don't see any. I want to say not no true, I guess, strategy, no true intellect. Granted, like I said, he's in 10th place. That's still scary. Like, especially from when you look at how Leatherface moves in the movies, both in the first one and in the remake with Jessica Biel. He's basically a buff NFL player running around with a chainsaw. That is scary. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you believe you can do. If Herschel Walker's chasing you with a chainsaw, you're gonna get worried. I don't. That's all I'm gonna say. But I think for me,
He's a pretty big dude.
oh yeah, no, he is like if he was any bigger, he'd be. I would say he'd be classified as a giant. Like that is a scary thing. But I put him in that place only because like I see that there's some like mental strategy to it, but not enough for me to think that it's like at that upper level of like oh snap. He's still oh snap level, but it's like if I play a really sick game of hide and seek, I could win. We'll say that.
Right,
But yeah.
right. That makes sense.
So that's 10. All right. I got now it's gonna be cooking because now I'm gonna get to number 9. What's your number 9? So if Jigsaw's number 10, who's gonna be your number 9?
I like, and again, I went with characters instead of slasher. So, and the reason I did this is because anybody that would attack their own family has definitely got to be in that run. So I'm gonna put Jack Torrance, who's played by Jack Nicholson in The Shining. The way he tormented his wife and his son there at the end, just because he went crazy in that Overlook Hotel many years ago, still one of the most riveting endings of a movie if you want to watch it. And again, it's more psychological than anything, but everybody knows that here's Johnny scene as he
Yep.
busts through the door
Mm-hmm.
after Shelley Duvall. And yeah, so he's just very diabolical. And I like the way his character changed as the movie went on. So I would put him as number 9 as a villain on my list.
I can go with that. I can go with that. I can definitely see that. I can definitely see that.
Oh, perfect.
Let's see. For me, funny enough, number 9, that's where for me Jigsaw comes in because that's because he's a little bit more intellect, but just like you mentioned before, and just like I see before, he technically doesn't kill nobody. Technically, he pretty much gives them options, and whatever options they take, whatever thing they do, that's what in the end takes out the person most of the time. But like he technically doesn't kill nobody. He just kind of puts them in a situation where they have to make the hard choice, and sometimes the hard choice is really hard. And for me,
Right.
that's where he comes in at 9 for Jigsaw. So Jigsaw for 9, that definitely comes in with me. So because I gotta give him respect. Like I said, I do love the first and the second Jigsaw for sure. And thanks to you, I have to do my due diligence and start diving into the movies. I might even go with the prequel, the new one that was the prequel, pretty much. Since I'm always iffy about prequels, everybody. Like
I told you it was good.
yeah,
It's very good.
yeah. You told me it was good, but pretty much a small tangent. I'm slightly biased about prequels because I'm the kind of person like, look, if it was really that good, why didn't they do this first? I mean, why didn't they do it first? But I remember you
Right.
did make a mention that the reason why some people might do a prequel before is once they've done enough in like certain movies and certain cinemas, that's when people get interested of like, well, what made him this way? Why do they do this? What's going on with it? And then that's when probably people get the idea of doing a prequel. So I give respect to that, but I'm just still iffy 50-50 on that sometimes. Sometimes.
Gotcha.
So yeah. All right. Number 8. Who's your number 8?
Staying on my same premise there of a person that is just diabolical and again attacks. This is he doesn't necessarily attack his own family. What or did he at the beginning? I don't remember. It's been a while. Anyway, Hannibal Lecter. He has to be on the list. He's very well known, obviously, loosely based on a true story. But Hannibal Lecter has to be on the list. Man, again, the acting was phenomenal. Yeah, you have to put Hannibal Lecter at number 8 as far as being one of the best horror movie villains of all time.
I can see that. I can see that. And I give mad respect to Hannibal Lecter. He's actually one of my favorites. So you will see him. You just may not see him anytime soon. But yes, I give respect to Hannibal Lecter. Like he is one of my favorites. Let's see. We're going for 8 now. 8. Had it in my head somewhere. There we go. There we go. Number 8 is the. I gotta research his name properly, but basically everyone is gonna be number 8 is gonna be the blind guy from the movie Don't Breathe and Don't Breathe 2.
Yeah, he was definitely diabolical, wasn't he?
Yes, he was diabolical, but he's on the list because like dude is scary. Like the fact that you've never been so concerned about like a blind man. You've never been so concerned about being in a room with this blind man is always like has people's hairs raised already. It always gets me concerned. But he's at
Right.
for me because when I really, really, really look into it, I mean, it's horribly, horribly, horribly justified. Now, I still don't approve, but some of it is like horribly justified from, what we find out in the movie of what he's doing to even in the beginning of the movie to what he did with the people who are breaking in the house.
Right.
People broke into his house. That's
Right.
I'm sorry, that puts me at odds of like, oh, you're 50-50 right now. You're kind of like I want like I care for you, but it's not like I care for you. So like, oh no, something bad's gonna happen.
Right.
I care for you is like
That's what
you kind of deserve this. I don't want to see what happens next, but it's
I think that's what made that movie so good is the fact that you kind of slightly pulled for him in a way, but then you're like, wait a minute, I can't pull for this guy. He's kidnapped a young girl and put her in the
Mhm,
basement, yeah,
mhm.
and chained her up. So I don't want to give
That's
away the movie if anybody hasn't watched it yet, but yeah, you have to watch it just because the emotional roller coaster it puts you on. Um, but yeah, in a way, you can't pull. You really can't pull for him, not knowing the full backstory of what he had going
Ye-
on. But
yes. Like I said, like I gotta put him on the list because he is scary and he is by far like a very like cruel individual. But the fact of like, yes, the beginning half of the movie is like, okay, I understand what he's coming for, and then the other half of the movie is like, oh god, this guy's really slightly evil. And then of course
right,
they made the sequel, which literally turned him into like a vigilante. Might as well as turned him into a vigilante. So it's
right.
still good, still brutal, but it's like they kind of, I guess, ran with the fact of like him being, I guess, a balanced bad guy in a way. Quotation mark.
Yeah,
Balanced.
one of those few horror movies that part 1 and part 2 was both good. To me, they're both good. They're
Oh yeah,
both good
no,
horror
I
movies.
liked both of them. I liked both of them. Liked them indeed. Liked them indeed. All right, 7.
Number 7 for me is the Candyman. Candyman, you gotta, Candyman. You have to, of course, you have to summon him. But when you summon him, you're gonna get what you summon. So yeah, you have to put Candyman on the list. I like the movies weren't that great to me. They weren't that scary, but I think you have to put him on the list just because of all the different people that he affected in his movies. So the Candyman is my number 7.
I can go with the Candy Man. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, like, yeah, the fact of I think that's the biggest. I think that is one of the scariest individuals, but also that's the biggest joke in horror is just like the fact of like this is the one killer to where it's like, look, if you call somebody to to test if they're going to kill you, I'm sorry, you need to get got. Like it's
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know
you need to be God. Exactly.
yeah, it's kind of like proverbially picking on the quiet kid in school. Like you know you pick on the quiet kid long enough, he's going to do something. But you kind of deserve what's coming to you. But if you just left him alone, didn't call his name, didn't pick on him, you'd be okay. But no, you had to go that route.
Right.
Let's see. 7 for me. 7 for me. I feel that 7 for me would be no. Eh,
It was funny. I thought our top five were going to be practically the same, but you've already mentioned one of my top five, so it's good. It might top five might actually be interesting now.
see, there you go, there you go.
So I
I
won't
like
give
I have to
away.
go through the recesses of my mind right here sometimes. Let's see, top 7. Come on now, who'd be a good person in that spot?
And of course, anybody watching this video is going to go, "Oh, I can't believe y'all aren't saying this person or that person or whatever." But again, this is so inclusive to what we like or what we've seen,
Indeed,
and
indeed, indeed.
again, there'll be some honorable mentions at the end. I guarantee you. So,
7, Chucky from Child's Play.
thought you could kick Chucky across the room. You
I
can't kick
could
Chucky.
kick Chucky across the room. Now, keep in mind, there are some people who are afraid of dolls. I'm just saying,
Yeah,
it's
that's very true.
you can't get over the fact that even though me and you could probably punch Chucky across, across the room. Have a spear on hand. At the same time, he's not only supposed to have the same strength as a normal human man, but that's kind of a scary
Uh,
thought. And then on top of
I
that,
tear his stuffings out.
yeah, and then
Tear his
yeah,
stuffings.
and then on top of that, because of his size, he can like sneak into a lot of places. Like if Chucky ever decided to quote unquote shut up and play
Yeah,
like play like the ninja card, he'd be twice as frightening. Because like if he just like talked a little bit, but then after he talks, you just don't hear him for the rest of the movie, and he just like jump scares you out from like awkward things, a cabinet, refrigerator,
right.
under your bed, that then his probably scares will be twice as scary. But the fact that he has to talk, the fact that he has to open that mouth, it's
Where is
but yeah, I have to give him a little bit. And I said not a lot. I gotta give him a little bit. Not a lot. All right. 6.
I'm gonna put a tie at number 6 if that's okay. I was like, so my top five are set, and I don't want this. I don't want. They really are about the same, sort of similar. Oh well, not really.
Go
You know
ahead.
what? I'll put the other ones. I'll put the other ones honorable mention. So let's go ahead and put Damien from the Damien Omen series. Again, he's
Mm.
definitely satanic, definitely demonic. Um, he, yeah, the way he went after some people, even as a little boy, was pretty scary because he was using death and Satan as his tool, and or Satan was using him as his tool. So yeah, Damien from the Damien Omen series has to be number 6.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that. I can see that. And just so yeah, the whole definitely the whole kid thing growing up to be the literal son of Satan like that is
Right, the son of Satan. That's it.
and him actually killing. Yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see that. No, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I like that. Yeah, I like that. I like that.
I was gonna have him tied with, but I can't find his name. But the little gnome, the little gnome character in the Leprechaun movies, whatever he was called, the Leprechaun.
Yeah, you say
but
the leprechaun. Yeah,
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 but just because he's small, he probably the same line as Chucky. We can punt him across the room, but hey, you never know when he's gonna appear and and bite your ankles off. So
yeah. I mean, he is he. I mean, he does have his his jump scares, and of course, he does have like some kind of magic going on. So of course, that can
not on my list. Not on my list. Yeah, he does have magic on, but not on my
yeah,
list. I'd put him tied with that one if I had to. Yeah, so.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I believe you. I believe you. You're good. You're good. You're good. Let's see. For me, 6. It would be going by characters. Go characters. What was it? What was it? I had it. I had it. I had it. But one of the one of the characters from the main villain from, and I got to now I got to look his name up too. Like he's from 6, but pretty much he's from the show The Following, and he is the main bad guy in the first and second season. He's the serial killer I told you about that
I don't.
that
Yeah,
that pretty much that can convince other people to become serial killers, and he has like a following, a cult following of serial killers.
that's a really good idea. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
Like yeah, I'll probably put his name up in the show for sure, but like he's definitely 6 because the ability to where like he is not only a
manipulate people.
yeah, he's not only a good killer
Yeah,
himself, he can convince you to possibly start killing people, and you do it, and
right.
that's that puts it at 6. So yeah, 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 he's actually close
I
to
could
5.
go for
Yeah,
that. I could go for that for
so yeah,
sure.
6. Yeah, definitely gonna put that up there. All right, now we get into the nitty gritty right here, nitty gritty. 5.
This one's tough, and I want to put again. I want to put a tie again because I realized I left one out that I want to put in, but um, 5 has got to be Pinhead. Pinhead again from the Hellraiser series is probably just he's very distinct because he's the only villain like that has pins in his head. Number one, but the way he again manipulates all of his Cenobites in the underworld and in the world of evil.
Hmm.
He's the master of it all, and he is. Yeah, he's. I don't think I'm trying to think back, and I think I've seen every one of them except for maybe the last two. But I don't think he actually ever physically really killed anybody though himself. It was all manipulation. But again, I still, because his manipulation ways, it was just all about the eternity of pain and torture.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Um,
he's a
if he
leader.
stayed in his realm, so
Yeah, he's the leader in that. I mean, he has the ability to do that. Like that's the
that is great. So that's where he is
character.
definitely number 5 for me. But I also, like I said, I want to put him tied because I want to put him in with Leatherface because again, Leatherface has to be in my top 10. I don't know how I didn't miss him. Yeah, maybe you should have put him in there before maybe Jack Torrance. Or reason I put Jack Torrance again because the acting,
Yeah.
Leatherface really doesn't do any acting.
Hmm.
He's just there and he runs around like a crazy killer. But again, if you start thinking about horror movies and who should be in the Mount Rushmore, and he'd be that little head on top of Mount Rushmore, extra head, so to speak.
He'd be
He
the
would have
beast.
Leatherface would have to be on there. So
Oh yeah, no, no, no.
actually, my Mount Rushmore would have 6. I'd have 2 in the upper corners,
Ah,
you know,
ah,
pinhead on one side, Leatherface on the other.
this is it. I can go with that. Yeah, I can go with that. For me, my five, and just like I mentioned, told you we'd make a ring back to it. My five is Hannibal Lecter. Like he is my favorite. He is the Renaissance man of all killers. He can he can kill you. He can cook you. He can make people eat you. He can make people eat yourself. And on top of that, he's the kind of person that can have a scary conversation. He's the Renaissance man of killers for me, and in some cases, inspiring only because I want to be able to do that much stuff minus the actual serial killer part. But it's
Right. And
but
keep
yeah.
in mind too, he's very, very intelligent. You don't find very many intelligent
Hmm.
creatures or villains, but he is very intelligent. So
Indeed, indeed, I do like that. Though. Do like that. All right, now we're getting to there now. Number four.
you know what? I mean, just because, and I know this must be quote unquote our list, but
Hmm.
because of his cult following, and no, I'm not fixing to say Art the Clown, but because of the cult following, it's got to be Pennywise. Pennywise only because of his cult following and the fact that he actually went after kids, which to me is kind of one of those iffy things I don't want to see.
That's
Our
because
next 3 characters very rarely went after kids, or if they did, they wouldn't actually physically go after a kid. The next 3 are, but again, this one actually went after a kid, and with the premise for the whole movie. So Pennywise has to be on the list again. Cult following, very popular. He's going to be number 4 on my list.
I can go with that. I can go with that. I dig it. I dig it. I can go with Pennywise. I can go with Pennywise. Yeah, indeed, I can go with that. Uh, my four. That's where Pinhead shows up because Hellraiser, like just his detail, just the fact of like his quote. Um, not only like what he's done in like some of the movies that I've seen, like pretty much his quote of like angels to some, demons
Right,
to others, and of course like pain, pleasure, indivisibles. Like that's on one half, it's like, oh, that sounds kind of philosophical, but then you hear it from a guy who looks like him and does what he does. It's like, ooh, I don't know. This is probably not my this is probably not my party I need to be in right now. This is not good.
right.
Good at
If
all.
anyone watched the video, wants to watch and get the cinematic effect of art, of demonic art, they need to watch the original Hellraiser. And again, very, very scary. So they have to make sure they preempt that. Hey, it's going to scare you to death. But watch it if you're really, really into art, because the Xenobites in the movie are so craftily made.
Mhm.
You watch the movie, you go, wow, I haven't seen that before. Then another one pops up, wow, I haven't seen that before, and it's like
It is
character after
very,
character after character,
yep, they're very unique. It's very unique.
very unique.
Very dig it a lot. Like, yeah, that's very up there. And yeah, like I said, pretty much with Clive Baker, the Hellraiser movie and the Nightbreed movie, like I could I could watch that every. I could watch that when every October comes around. I could watch both of those and still not get bored because it's
Right.
those two movies are just so interesting and so crazy in a way. It's but all right. Now we're on three.
Yeah, like I said, 3, 2, 1 is going to be the same, but the question then is going to be which one's three, which one's two. And I've been sitting here trying to flip the coin on
Yep.
which one I think should be three. And I'm going to go with only because he's third on my list would be Freddy Krueger. So Freddy Krueger, the fact that he could come to you in the dreams, which again was a other than maybe Sleepwalkers, which kind of had a dream type feel to it. It's the one movie where a killer's in your dreams. How do you combat that? You're in a dream and he has control of your dream. So it's very scary premise. And that movie would definitely give you nightmares. So yeah, the original, the second one, the third one, they're all really, really good. And I like them all, to be honest with you. I like all Freddy Krueger movies. So yep, Freddy's number three on my list.
I can go with that. Freddy Krueger being three on your list. I do like that. Yeah, I that. It's funny you say that. Because on three, it is a weird tie, but I think I'm just going to switch one of them and just keep that one as a third one. Jason Voorhees as my third. Jason Voorhees as the third. Like, from the Friday the 13th, the part 2 and up. But there's a couple
Right.
notable ones, yeah. I just want to specify by because if you're a true because everyone once you become a true horror fan and once you see all the Friday the 13th movies, you'll see why I said that the way I said it. But pretty much, yeah, Jason Voorhees, he's the menace. He mauls, he bends, breaks, takes people out with anything and everything. And there's even like lore that he's pretty much one of the most perfect outdoor survival men because pretty much before he became supernatural, he pretty much lived out there. Like he lived out there waiting for people
Right.
to get on the thing. Now, the main reason why he is number 3 is because you still have to go out to Crystal Lake. And that is the only thing as to why I'm keeping him lightly as 3. Will
And
he
don't forget, though, he showed up. Don't forget, he showed up in Manhattan,
No,
and he
no, no,
showed up in
no, no.
space, and
There were times he was transported, yes. There's times he was transported,
terrible,
yes.
terrible movies, by
But
the
most
way.
but most of his movies, most of the lore, you literally have to you literally have to go in the lion's den and decide there is no lion here, pretty much. That Jason Voorhees is the lion. You basically have to go in his domain and be like, there's no Jason
Right,
Voorhees here, and that's when he pops up. Is hear that,
right,
whether it be you willingly go or whether you accidentally trespass in his domain, you have to be in his domain before he decides, okay, I'm going to off you now. And that's basically how that goes for me. It's Jason Voorhees,
makes
right?
sense.
All right. 2.
And obviously, that goes since I put, you know, I flip flopped these. Like I said, it could have been going either way. Freddie was at three, so Jason's gonna be number two for me. So real quick, so because I want to rehash what all you just rehashed about Jason. Again, this kind of goes into the whole folklore thing of who's the most popular. If you say Jason, people know that name. If you do the sound,
Yep.
everybody knows that. Everybody knows that sound. So. Which, by the way, I was going to mention, we maybe should do. I don't know how interesting it'd be for people, but one of the things that makes horror movies is the sounds, and we could actually make a whole podcast on just which movies had the best notable sounds or the best musical scores that made you go, "Oh yeah, I know what movie that's from," and
Mm.
this one would definitely be right up there. Um,
Oh, yeah.
with the but anyway, yeah, Jason number two for me. Obviously, Notorious Killer. Also, for those who do not know, but watch video, there was a video or a movie where Jason actually took on Freddy. Jason versus Freddy. Not very bad movie, by the way. The way they actually was able to come together and actually combat each other was actually pretty cool. I
Oh
thought it
yeah,
was very ingenuine. It was
you know,
stupid. I mean, as far as
I mean,
the backgrounds of it all, but I liked it. I thought it was a really good
it,
movie.
it was stupid, but it actually like went together like really well. Like that was, ladies and gents, like before the whole, and we're gonna like pretty much add a little flair to this. Before the whole Marvel universe, Marvel films decided to be like, hey, what would happen if Thor meant Iron Man or if Iron Man meant Captain America? Before all that happened, there was a horror movie combo that everybody still loves, and people may deny it, but you still love it, and it is Freddy versus Jason, and we just love that combo of seeing two iconic killers somehow manage to battle it out. And
Yep.
to me, like even though you say like some of the parts were like stupid, to me in a way, I think like this was like the best case scenario of how they can get those two to meet because
Oh yeah, there's no doubt. But they thought it through. I mean, the
yeah
way to make they could make the
they
movie
they
work.
thought
But
it through.
again, as far as like in the realm of both of the series of movies, I definitely wouldn't put it as one of the best. It was good though. Good.
It wouldn't be so guys. It wouldn't be one of the best, but like Prince, best movies. But I think it was one of the best horror collabs that that you hear about or that you see. Because like it actually everything linked well. I was about to say like besides like a few details here and there. Like I thought the story was very solid. I felt the reason why Jason was in it and the reason why Freddy was in it was solid, and the reasons behind it. Up until like the very end, I thought it was like quite solid. Were there goofy parts? Yes, but to be honest, I think that was like the filler of just like, okay, how can we add a little bit of some of the Jason Voorhees movies in there, or how can we add a little bit
Right, exactly.
of Freddy's humor in there, and that's pretty much. And I think that's how pretty much how it got caught a little bit there. But those are like fillers, I like to call it. From beginning,
Right.
I liked it. I liked it. I liked it very good. Let's see, second one. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna stick with my second one. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with my second one. Let's stick with my second one. Michael Myers. Michael Myers. Reason being, Michael Myers is like pretty much from the Halloween series. Pick any Halloween series except pick any Halloween movie except Halloween 3. I think that's where me and Edge completely agree. Like even the newest one, the newest remake of the series with Halloween. Oh no, I forgot the Halloween blah part. It's like the middle movie of Halloween thing, and then pretty much Halloween ends. Like the newest Halloween trilogy that came out. You can pick any of those, and Michael Myers is still a force to be reckoned with. And I just have
H2O,
no, not
Halloween
too
20.
well. I mean, granted, that should be close to on the list of the Halloween 3, but even then Halloween H2O had its moments. It had its moments.
It did.
It had its moments. It's not great by any Michael Myers comparison, but it had its moments. And the fact that Michael Myers was not on he was pretty much the evil force to be reckoned with. He cannot be, withheld. On top of him being like not withheld, I've always had, I guess, a theory as to why he is strong the way he is. And believe it or not, it's not it to me. It's not what you think. It's not like he's this spiritual force. It's just that you ever meet somebody who is so off their rocker, who is so crazy, but
Yeah,
they believe that they can do something that they actually start doing it. And
right,
and to me, I think that's where Michael Myers is because he believes that no matter what happens, he's gonna maul this guy, and he
right,
doesn't have that limit of just like, should I do this? And that's pretty much what I think makes him mostly ungodly strong, but can be attainably strong because it's not like he's Thor. Even though in the movie
right. No,
you see him lifting people up with one arm, but at the same time, I think he just doesn't have that limit of should I do this? He's like, no, I'm gonna do it regardless, and I'm gonna do
right,
it this way regardless. And I think that's what makes him. twice as scary is the fact that he is that way on top of, the so many kills and scares and ways he pops up out of nowhere. Like
Right.
it's up there. It's up there. All right. Here we go. Number one.
And of course, I had to leave Michael Myers for my number one because I mean that's my favorite horror movie of all time. Was Halloween one, Halloween two. I liked Halloween one, the original, only because of the scares that it gave you with just the visuals. Him standing on the corner of the sidewalk as the girls are walking down the sidewalk, him just standing there, him standing outside the window, and you think you see him, but you're not sure if the next minute he's disappeared. And he's really pretty smart too. But then what really made Halloween even better, we've said this 1,000 times, but again, if you haven't watched the Rob Zombie version of Halloween one and two, he really trumped it up a lot. He showed how you know Michael Myers from a kid became that deranged little boy, and then turned into a man. And then I don't know why I'd have to look up the character that the actual actor that played it, but that guy had to be 6'7" or something.
He
I
was a
mean,
big
just
dude.
absolutely huge.
Big
So he
dude.
grew into a
Big dude.
huge, large man that was able to do what he was able to do in those movies. He could take a gunshot. He could take, things like that. He could take, multiple people beating on him and things of that nature. So Rob Zombie was able to capture all that and make it real. But yeah, the whole thing of Michael Myers to me, like I said, just because it's my favorite, it was the first. It was he has to be the number one. Plus, again, you go back to the who's the most popular around the world. People used to say Michael Myers, and people know who you're talking about. And so I would definitely put him as my number one villain character of all time.
I'll go with that. I'll go with that. My number one happened to be, I think, maybe your number. It was one of your numbers, but Freddy Krueger, you know,
Yeah, number three, number three,
it was number three. But pretty much, yeah, pretty
number
much
three.
Freddy Krueger, because that is by far, like, to me, he's the first he's the first slasher that started to go in a supernatural kind of realm a little bit. And the fact that he
Right,
and the fact that he chooses to get in people's dreams. Granted, there's always a lot of jokes like, man, what kind of person's gonna try to kill me in my dreams? But like at the same time, that's one of the few times where like you're not expecting to like get got by anybody is when you wanna go to sleep. And there are like just so many ways that not only you will have to eventually go to sleep, but the fact that he is the jokester that can back it up. Like he is the one,
right,
yeah, he's the one that pretty much where Chucky is like all talk and you can punt him across the room. With Freddy, once you go to sleep, he's all talk and then he will still continually scare you and try to kill you while he's doing all these things. And it's
right.
like he makes a joke out of it. Like I think,
It definitely makes it more difficult to realize how are you going to destroy this villain, this character. And the only reason I put him at three, like I said, is just for
mhm,
the fact of notoriety behind the other two. That's the only reason.
mhm, mhm, mhm. But it's just to me like just like certain little snippets that pretty much he would do or say that makes me go like, see, if I would have heard this like when I'm about to die, that would probably be like, yep, I don't want to do this no more. And one of the snippets was from the I want to say they tried they pretty much the remake with another actor I guess where they like tried to restart it a little bit and spoiler alert, everybody, spoiler alert, I'm gonna give a spoiler alert. This is how much I'm cool with Freddy right now. But pretty much it shows a scene where he killed the guy, but then he's still with the guy in the dream, and he literally tells a detailed fact of like, do you know after your heart stops, the brain still keeps going for 7 minutes? Do you know what that means? We have several minutes to play. And I'm like, oh god, like just I was like, when I heard that, it's like if I was in a situation like, just go ahead and take me. Just Lord Jesus,
Yeah,
just go ahead and take me. It's
don't put me through that mess.
yeah. Like just go ahead and put me out of my misery. No, I don't want not more 7 minutes. That's like it's.
Exactly.
But yeah, that is
Exactly.
yeah, that is a good time. Like that is we actually managed to go overtime, but I definitely think it was worth it because it's
Hey, real quick. So